with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even with that, you talked about like doing like contemplative prayer.
Yeah.
I had to sound that one out. Are there any other like spiritual practices like you've like used throughout your time in ministry to help you grow as not just even as a pastor, but even as like a person?
Yeah, just as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we actually talked a little bit about this on the last episode, Sadie and I.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, a couple of the new ones for me, like fasting has been really important lately. And I mean, I've asked the church to fast for periods of time, like 21 days or, like a 40-day kind of fast or whatever. And it kind of goes back to the passage where it's like, the disciples are trying to like heal people from demons and stuff. And the idea that Jesus is like, they were like, we can't figure it out. And Jesus is like, hey, some of these things can only come out through prayer and fasting.
Yeah, right.
And so it's like, well, I had the prayer thing down, but I didn't necessarily have the fasting thing down. And so I've been learning about fasting. And then, this won't be new for people who have known me because I talk about it quite a bit. But like silence and solitude has been huge. Yeah. Like the monks would say, I've been reading a lot of monks, and the monastics are like, that would specifically Thomas Keating would say that God's original language is the language of silence.
Yeah, right.
And that no words that humans create can actually live up to the language of silence. I'm like, wow, like there is just a tremendous depth in that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It was one of those things where I heard it and I was like, I don't know if I believe that or if that's true. And the more I reflected on it, the more I'm like, no, it's absolutely
100% true. Yeah,
there is a silence that God's. Like we hear God in a different way through silence. And so silence and solitude has been really, really important. And as an extrovert, it's taken me a really long time to get there. It's taken me a long time to be comfortable and not feel like I'm just almost like spiraling out when I'm just like by myself. Like this morning I got here super early and just spent time in quiet because I had a men's group at 6. And I was like, man, if I don't get here early enough, I'm not going to have time before I lead a group, And so, I think those have been big. Lectio Divina, praying through the scriptures. Yeah. And we just did a Visio Divina at our staff meeting, which is cool.
That was so fun.
The idea of praying with your eyes or divine seeing. That's been neat. Although I haven't practiced that one necessarily a ton.
Right. Yeah.
I have, but
not recently.
Lectio Divina would be what I've practiced more than Visio Divina.
Right.
And then honestly, practicing gratitude has been enormously helpful for me.
Sure.
Especially in like hard seasons where I'm like, oh, you know what? Life is fine. Like life is okay. Like rapid fire writing down 100 things that I'm grateful for. Yeah. Has been huge. And we've done that as a staff. We've practiced that as a staff. So
sure.
Yeah. What has that been like for you? What have you been practicing for disciplines?
I mean, for me, I always go back to like scripture reading. That's where, for me, I always feel like I hear God's voice the best. Yeah, is through that, and I'll couple that with like silence. Yeah, like if I'm reading through like a particular verse, or right now I'm reading through Ezekiel. Sorry, hello. I know, which is deep,
riveting reading.
So fascinating.
You're like, I want to learn about the Babylonian exile.
Yeah, again, because I just read through Jeremiah as well, and it's the same thing. So yeah. But like here's like for instance like here's one of the thoughts I had. So I was reading through chapter 1 and chapter 2, and if you've ever read through Ezekiel, chapter 1 is basically God gives Ezekiel like a way like gives him an opportunity to actually look at God, and just it's in weird like angel forms. It's so wild.
Is that the one where it talks about
eyes and like wheels and it's like a wheel made out of eyes. And it's like what do you know? What this is so weird. Yeah. But then like in chapter 2, like God's literally telling Ezekiel like he's getting ready to go talk to God's people, and they're probably going to have hard hearts, and they're probably not going to listen to him. Yeah. So like, how discouraging. Yeah. How fun is that going to be? Yeah. But like, so I'm reading through chapter 1 and I'm reading through chapter 2. So there's the reading part, but then I sit and spend some time in silence with it. And I think God just gave me like God kind of gave me this point of like, I think God had to show himself to Ezekiel first before he would actually go and do it. Because if not, I don't know if Ezekiel would have actually gone.
Is it one of the things that Ezekiel does? It's either him or Jeremiah who they lay on their side for 400 days to symbolize like the siege of Babylon or something.
I think it's Ezekiel.
It is a bizarre. Imagine you're like, hey Matthew, I just wanted to let you know, like I'm not going to be able to fulfill my duties because
for the next like
for 400 days because the Lord told me to lay on my side for 400 days.
For the next like month and for the next year and a month, I'm not next 13 months. I'm not gonna be able to do this.
You're gonna have some bed sores.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to get up.
That's gonna be not good. So anyway, yeah. So like I like to practice those things together. That's too. Cool. And really just even like trying to give like words of like encouragement too is a super helpful practice for me.
Neat.
Just if it's with you guys like here, like in the office or like at home or with students, and just some words like, hey, like you're awesome, or like, you know, I appreciate you, and
I love that.
Like thanks for being here. Like those types of practices. Like it's good for my soul to like verbalize that stuff, and it's good. I mean, and people can never have too much like encouragement.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Like the spiritual gift of exhortation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Brady, I just want to speak something into you right now.
Okay.
You're a great fit around here.
Oh, thank you.
We love having you on staff.
I love being on staff.
People love you.
I hope so.
In fact, you know what I said? I don't think I've ever told you this.
Okay.
When you got hired here, when we were hiring you, this is one of the things that I said. And you're about a year and a half into being here, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Ish.
Yeah.
I said, here's what I think relationally what's going to happen with Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brady has a whimsy to him that people are going to love Brady immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to love Brady. And for the first 2 years, I think like people are really going to fall in love with Brady.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, after they get to know him, like they really, really get to know him, they're going to realize they really, really love Brady. And so like you've got a natural whimsy about you, but I think you've also got this heart that people are like, oh man, he really is that genuine. So anyway,
well, thank you.
Speak that into you today.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's from the Lord.
That's from the Lord.
Yeah. Anyway.